You've got mail.
Oh my gosh, I saw the most amazing movie over the weekend. It had Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in it, and they both work in the book industry, but they hate each other. And they're both in relationships, but they also have like a secret email friend that totally gets them on every level. Well, wouldn't you know it, at the end of the movie, they meet their email friend and they realize it's each other. And oh my gosh, it's so perfect.
But I thought that they hated each other.
Well, they did.
But how did they work it out?
Well, something with her being the shop girl, but then her shop closed and he was sorry. There was a lot going on.
That doesn't sound very good.
No, seriously, it was. And Somewhere Over the Rainbow was playing.
Wait, like Judy Garland? Was it a tribute to her?
No. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's too much to sum up. The ending was phenomenal. You have to see it. Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Most moviegoers start a film captivated by the beginning, and they keep watching as long as their attention and time allows. You ask for a book recommendation, and people usually refer you to one with a fantastic ending. Does anyone really care or pay attention to the middle? Although at times overlooked, the middle holds some of the most important details and value. Here we are in the middle of 2020, 6 months in. Does what's going on and how we respond make a difference? Will we even remember? Some say the middle of 2020 could determine whether we finish out this year in success or failure. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Path and Posture. I am your host, Miriah Turner, here with my sisters, Brittany and Sierra Turner.
Hello.
And it is the middle of our podcast. Woo! How many episodes are we in, Brittany?
This is our 12.
12. Woohoo! And so by celebration, we are inviting our friend Shelby Hladky here tonight with
Hello.
us. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Honorary Turner.
Yes.
She has been recently adopted into our family as our fourth sister.
And I've loved every second of it.
So we're talking about middles and how important they are, how they get overlooked. Shelby, welcome to being a middle child with me.
Yes,
because now I have to share the middle with you.
I have
As if it
older
wasn't
and a younger. It's so fun.
As if it wasn't crowded enough as this middle child syndrome between Brittany and Sierra. Now I have to share it with Shelby. So it's the middle of the year and end of June. What did we do in June? Today is my middle child's birthday. We celebrated her over the weekend. And we did a whole mermaid theme, and she's just the sweetest thing. The way that she reacted to opening her gifts, it was just the middle of the cake. I mean, the icing on the cake, right? We never think about the middles. It's always the icing, and it's the best part, or the crust. The end is the best part. So it was wonderful to celebrate.
Except if it's in the middle of the brownie.
Or the Oreo, but we're not talking about that right now.
Talk about the other things people don't care about.
Things you overlook the middles. Those are the two things in the whole universe that we actually like: the middle of the brownie and the middle of the Oreo. So we celebrated Riley, my middle child. So that closed my family out to, we are now in the middle of the year. It's going to be July this week. Do you guys even remember January? It seems like a lifetime ago. And it was only 6 months.
I feel like I remember last January better than this January, which was remember when that's when we took on the project, the Echo project. And Daddy
explain that real quick. For those of you that don't know, both my sisters and I, we are part of a group called Harmony Roads, and we do a lot of our own original music. And our older sister, Brittany, thought to take it a step further and say, hey, let's write a book about it.
Yes, I did.
And so that was a whole project.
I was done having kids and I wanted a fourth baby, so I made my book a fourth baby.
There you go. Yes, so you poured your passion into that.
Yes, I did.
So you were saying the Echo Project.
Yeah, so in January I had this idea, I'm going to write this book. We're going to go to Oxford in January.
Last January.
Yeah, this is 2019, and I was going to base this book off of our experience there as a family, and friends were invited, and Daddy ended up having a heart attack in January, the day we were supposed to fly out.
Mom's birthday.
On Mom's birthday,
Yep.
Right. And from that came a turn of events that transformed literally the entire book beginning in June, which was the middle of the year. And so it became a book about our family and kind of how we handled life and ministry and the seasons of our lives. And it just was completely different than what I had originally planned. And that happened in the middle.
Yeah.
And it became about what happens in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entrance of the book starts in, well, they're based on seasons, summer, autumn, winter, spring, but it starts with
Winter.
winter. So it starts, not at the beginning when everyone thinks
Spring, when new life is
spring.
happening.
Yeah, it starts in the winter, in the midst of the middle of, what's going on in the,
In mom's life.
yeah.
Of
Yeah.
stillness, yeah.
Well, yeah. And so middles can hold some of the most important information, whether that's like the meat of a topic or the turning point to
Yeah,
where
and I
something
wa-
goes in a completely different direction.
And I wanted to celebrate the middle. I mean, this podcast is a supplement to what we have been, what we've written about in Echo. And so we kind of just wanted to drive it home. The book is about the middle, and this podcast is about the middle,
Yeah. So the middle being, so you have the beginning of life, you have the end of your life. What are you doing with your life? The whole content middle of your life is your day to day. And so path and posture is talking about the different paths that God might have us on and the posture or the reactions or the attitudes that we have while we're walking those out. So it's whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you are a full-time career mom, or if you are a single girl looking for the right person, and you just all the different walks that we could be on, the different paths. Just talking about the posture that we could have as we allow God to work in us and through us to change our lives and the lives of others around us. So that's path and posture. And Echo is reaching for authenticity. That's the name of our book. And you can find that where again, Brittany?
On harmonyroads.com. And with everything opening back up, we should be able to get a spot in Amazon soon.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Because what, right now we're not essential.
We're not essential.
I think we're essential. Speaking of essential, education. So one of my points on the middle kind of stemmed from what I had heard about with lectures and your attention span within a lecture, and whether you remember the beginning, the middle, or the end. So according to epigeum.com, it's online courses and resources. They're owned by Oxford University Press. They looked at a study of students during a 60-minute lecture, and they said normally after an initial period, relatively high levels of attention, the student's performance will drop off to a low after only about 10 to 12 minutes, and it remains low until the end, where there's a little bit of an increase and they remember the end of the lecture. So that was just kind of the background of what I was understanding in terms of we remember the beginning for 10 to 12 minutes, and then a little bit of the end where the professor gives you a quick little summing points and sends you off. Everyone seems to either just doze or daydream or fall asleep in the middle, which is all the content of what we're supposed to be retaining and learning. So this is important in terms of scholastic, college lectures, and also in entertainment. And this is where we kind of wanted to bring in Shelby, because you are dealing with beginning, middles, and ends all the time. Let everybody know, what is it that you do?
So I am the drill team director, the assistant drill team director at Marcus High School. And if you are not from the South, drill team is basically a dance squad or a pom squad. It is not the girls that do the guns and the rifles and the flags, which we love them too, but that's not what drill team is.
Is that like color guard?
Color guard.
Yes, okay. That's what I thought.
So I was on high school drill team, and then I went to Kilgore College and was a world famous Kilgore College Rangerette. And then now I'm back at my high school and I'm my director's assistant. So
Awesome.
And for those who don't know, the Rangerettes are the Texan version of the Rockets.
which
Yeah.
I also auditioned for, which was super fun.
That's awesome.
In New York City. But anyways, all of that to say, my whole life has been revolved around dance. And more recently, I have really chosen to view dance as my ministry and how to pour Jesus into these girls and how to entertain our community, but also spreading the gospel in the public school system, which can be tricky. So all of that to say, we put on a show every spring, which we do halftime every football game, which is very important to us, but just like speaking the middle, it's the middle of a football game. So most people get up and they go get concessions or they go to the bathroom. And actually the whole reason drill team was even created was to keep people in their seats during halftime, because it's the middle of the game, and so everyone needs a break.
Yeah.
So, but that's like a 3-minute performance, so we're not super worried about keeping people invested. But in our show, it's about 2 hours long, and so we put a lot of thought into each performance, and it's my girls on the stage pretty much the whole time. We have different people come in, like the cheerleaders and the drum line and different studios, but basically the head director and I have to figure out a way to keep this audience entertained for 2 hours. Just like Miriah was saying, not just the opener and the finale. So because my sweet dad and my brother haven't missed a show, they know I'm always going to ask them their favorite dance at the end of every performance. And my dad always, always says the finale.
Yeah.
And part of me is, that's sweet. I love that he loves the finale. It's traditional. They're in their uniform. It's the high kick. So sweet. However, I'm like, Dad, did you even watch the rest of the show?
Yeah.
And then my brother has gotten smart enough. He texts me through the whole show. It's like an update after every dance because he knows if he forgets
There's going to be a quiz.
I'm going to be
It's
mad.
like, I was paying attention.
Yes. So he's gotten the showbiz down. He knows to give an update after every dance. And then
So cute.
different people, like, they'll write down next to the dance what they liked about it, because just like they were saying, it's so easy to forget if it's in the middle of the show and it's just a nice, slow, pretty lyrical with a plain Jane costume. Nobody's gonna remember it.
Yep.
So just figuring out ways to make things step out using different props, different messages, different lighting and backdrops, and how can you make each dance be original is definitely challenging, but part of why I love it.
Now, for speaking of like different props and different messages, what have you found to be beneficial in leading a stronger middle? Like, what have you done in the past? Name I guess at the top of your head, if you can remember, something that was like, that was a really good middle.
So last year our show theme was iconic, and so we pulled back old dances that the Marquettes had been known for. We pulled dances from up to 10, 15 years ago, and then 6 years ago. So we did a dance, actually when I was in high school, it was a palm to heartbreaker, and we like made this heart with our bodies, and we broke the heart, and it was like super awesome, and everyone remembered it, even 10 years later. So we put that smack dab in the middle of the show because we had an awesome entrance where people that were in that dance like introed it and kind of gave a history and why it was impactful on them and how much they loved performing it. And then it was just the heart itself is what made that dance so memorable. So just finding ways to make a dance stick out. So when you watch that, what's the audience going to grasp from it? Not just like, oh, that was pretty. That's not really our goal in showbiz. Pretty's not good enough.
Yeah.
And I think that if you do something iconic, people are expecting something, so they're waiting at the edge of their seat, like for something that they remember.
Totally.
And that's a really good little, theme there, is something that, hey, just wait.
Well, and you think about when you go to a show, whether it's a dance show or a concert or a musical, what are things that stand out to you? When somebody asks you your favorite part of the show, is it something that was in the middle, and why, and how did that stick out to you, as opposed to the beginning was awesome or that finale, because everyone expects big things from the finale. So just also, now you'll be aware when you go to shows to really pay attention to the middle, because it's just
We
as
have to text
important.
Shelby.
And I need to know your favorite dance at the end of the show.
So there's middles all throughout life. You have your scholastic middles, you have your entertainment middles, and then we've been talking about in our faith life just what the middle looks like there. And so just going back to the Epigeum study, they also showed graphs that showed what happens in lecture times when breaks are introduced. And it showed that the line on the graph with the students' attention, it declines. Their attention continues to decline after that 10 to 12 minutes, all the way up to and including a rest break, whether that's, a 5-minute stand up and stretch. Their attention's decline. Immediately once they sit back down, their attention goes almost right back up to where it started for a time, and then it almost starts to decline again. So they talk about taking at least like a couple breaks within a 60-minute lecture. But I thought that was fascinating, that just taking a break, a breather, to just stand up and stretch or focus on something else, whether that's just have your students work on a different kind of problem off topic, can just spark your interest and get everyone prepared for the next part, the next meat of the lecture. And at that point, if you're, 15 minutes in and you take a rest break, and then you're 20 minutes into your lecture, like you're about right at the middle where you should be hitting some of your hardest points. So people will be attentive. And so when we're talking about our faith life, Brittany, you brought up something interesting with the 400-year silence.
Yeah, so last year our church did a VBS and we did the timeline. We put God, the theme was God with us, and we did the whole timeline of the Bible. And Michael Bleeker was the music minister at the time there. He's recently is helping to plant a church in another part of Texas now. But he helped create the song, and with that included the entire timeline of the Bible. And there was 400 years of silence, and then right after that was Jesus is born. That was the lyrics. It's 400 years of silence. Jesus is born. I'm like, geez, that happened like fast, you think, but there was 400
Didn't happen fast.
There was 400 years of silence, meaning God had left the temple. He had not said. People are praying. They're wondering where he is.
No prophets.
No prophets are saying anything. Where is God?
Yeah.
Yes, and so that's, just for timeline's sake.
Yeah. Historian, here comes Sierra.
Old Testament, stories. 400 years of silence. New Testament. Everybody gets a visual.
God with us, Jesus, New Covenant. And
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, yes, exactly. So I just found it was interesting, the correlation between this
And that
study.
just happened tonight. Like
I know, we were just talking about this. We're like, let's just talk about the middles. Oh, da, 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 da. But this epigeum study, just talking about, okay, a break in a lecture will bring attention. Everybody's looking. And a break in God, in the Bible, and that 400 years of silence, everyone was looking and
Everyone was
anticipating
waiting.
and ready for Jesus.
Amen.
And he came. And it was incredible. And then his life happened. And then I feel like there was Easter, And so with Christmas and Easter, I feel like those are the two things that so many Christians recall from Jesus's life. The beginning.
He was born for our sins. He died for our sins.
Exactly.
But what did he do to teach us about our sins?
Yes. So with that, we kind of get what the joke is. I don't know if you all have heard of creasters. Christians that you see on Christmas and Easter. And then, where are they?
Wow, the church is full today.
So that's where we get the joke of creasters, because so many Christ followers or believers or Christians, they believe so much in his coming. They believe so much in his death and resurrection, which both are paramount. They're monumental moments in the life of Jesus.
And essential for salvation.
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't have salvation if he didn't come. We couldn't have salvation if he didn't die. So when we talk about the middle of the story of Christ, it's not necessarily the middle of his life age-wise, but the middle it being his ministry. It's the meatiest part. It's the most detail-filled and purpose-driven chunk of his time here with us. You talk about his parables, his teachings, his friendships, all of his messages, every bit of the example that we're called to be and that we're called to mirror in our walk with Christ is found in his middle. And like I said, we're not discrediting the birth or the resurrection, but just like all middles, I feel that at times Christians tend to overlook his life and his example. Like, who was he? And who are we if we call ourselves his own, if we don't know who he is? So just kind of talking about how the middle affects us as Christians in the sense of, if you miss the middle of this,
You miss who Christ is.
you miss the whole thing. I think it's easy to say, I believe in Jesus. I believe he died, he rose again. But do you believe in everything he taught?
And do you know him?
Everything he taught? Would you agree with him on everything he taught? Because that's the meat, and so just wanted to kind of throw that out there as something to think about. If you call yourself a Christ follower, if we call ourselves Christ followers, do we truly know his core, his middle, his heart for humanity? And does it change our thought in terms of who we are in relation to him? Are we truly his, or do we just kind of know about him?
And not just change our thought, but transform our lives. Like when you realize how much of a friend Jesus was and how much he wanted to be near us and to be with us, like that should transform every decision we make every day.
Yeah, so we only truly find out who we are when we evaluate the middle of his story, is what I would argue. And in terms of where we are now, 6 months into 2020, what kind of a year is this?
Hashtag COVID.
Hashtag murder hornets and
And Sahara Desert dust storm in Dallas.
Yeah, and
that was incredible.
Australian fires, right? That was the beginning of, that was
Oh
January.
my gosh.
That was
Wow,
January.
sounds like so far away. Sorry,
Yes.
Australia.
Yes. Well, so there's just so much going on this year already. Here we are in the middle. And so knowing that we tend to forget middles, I think this is a good time to take a rest in the sense of, oh my goodness, we've been worrying, we've been stressing, we've been freaking out about germs and hand sanitizer and sneezing and face masks and murder hornets outside, which I think I saw one the other day.
Well, you just said take a rest. I mean, we are in a time right now of unrest.
Yes,
Yes,
Even
absolutely.
our communities and our people and our loved
Our
ones.
governments, and
Socially,
Socially.
politically,
Everything.
economically, health. I think the only thing that's benefiting right now is the environment. Honestly.
except for the murder hornets.
Yeah, they're kind of messing things up. Yeah, just mimicking kind of. So we talk about take a rest so that we can once again regain our strength, our attention, and our intentions to do well, to act well, to live well, and not just keep gliding down and losing it like you would in a lecture that's going on too long, or just mimicking what God did in the Bible, taking that break and saying, wait for it, boom, And so here we are. Let's take a break and then re-enter the middle of this year with intention and purpose and love. We need so much love right now in every aspect of our lives, socially, politically. I challenge that you probably don't agree with half the people around you on half the things that are going on, and that's okay. It's a time to understand and to listen to each other, all sides, all colors, everything. It's just a time to listen. And so that's the only challenge I'm throwing out. And I feel like it's pretty simple. Just open your ears, open your eyes. And it's so easy to argue and to throw your point out. Just listen.
And rest in God's truth and in God's stillness so that he may speak to you.
Well, and I just feel like God gave us COVID to kind of make us all step back and take a break and be still and to listen. And I know personally, I feel like I've almost done the opposite because I had so much of a break. I got out of my routine of things and I'm like, what day is it? And when's the last time I opened my Bible? And when's the last time? And so I think it's also just a good reminder to, even though we've been on a break since March, it feels like, and we've just been sitting in our homes going stir crazy, it's also, now that it's June and now that it's the middle of 2020, to kind of reevaluate and take a break and start fresh. Even though I feel like most people are like, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do my quiet time every day, or I'm going to read the Bible all the way through, but it doesn't have to start in January.
Have yours resolution.
Yeah.
July resolution. It's funny, you talk about how we feel like we've been in a break, but we needed to take a break.
We need to take a break from the break.
That's always the joke that I have when I get back from vacation.
Vacation
I need a
before
break.
vacation.
Yeah.
Honestly, has anyone out there ever vacationed with children?
Or-
It's not a vacation.
Or the way Shelby
It's a trip.
and I plan trips, detailed itineraries, and you're gonna knock those things out.
Yeah,
we
sleep
came
in
here
your
for a
home.
purpose. Let's go see
Yes.
those things.
It is
and then
not
we're
relaxing.
And then we're exhausted. We're like, wow.
So then when you get home,
I need a break.
Exactly. It just seems a little counterproductive that you go on vacation to get a break, but then you need a break when you get back from your vacation.
Yes.
And especially, my mind goes to how easy it is once I put all my kids down for a nap, how I just want to hop on my phone and see what's going on. But those hours are just so crucial to shut off. To shut it off, shut off everything, and just enjoy the silence. And has anyone laid in bed at night and you're scrolling on your phone?
Oh, yeah,
and
it's
then
so easy.
the last thing you realize, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been on my phone for an hour and a half when I could have been in bed and asleep an hour and a half ago.
But you're seeing all these cool things. I think it's also such an interesting time talking about path and posture to be reminded of the posture. Because when I need to vacation for my vacation, God's up there being like, I gave you responsibility. This was your ability to respond to what I gave you.
I gave you all this time. What have you done with it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Eye-opening.
I finished Netflix.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, God, just give me another chance. Just give
I
me another
finished
chance.
all of Netflix.
yeah. No, which by the way, I hardly even watch.
No.
So no, I can honestly say I did not waste this time on television. I may have wasted it on repurposing projects and stuff like that.
Yes.
Maybe. No, I could have been doing something else. But but my heart was in the right place.
Honestly, to me, nothing changed because I have always worked from home and I continue to work from home and I'm a mother. So all my
Your
days.
baby just grew.
My baby
became
just
more
grew.
mobile.
Yep, and now he's walking. So, if anything, I did enjoy having my husband home for those moments. So that was nice. But my daily life didn't change. Just take care of the baby and work. So but it was unique. It was interesting seeing everybody else react to working from home.
I would say like Brittany especially, all of a sudden her school went to Zoom.
Ugh.
And I'm like, what's Zoom? I had all preschoolers, so I had no idea.
Right. The school went to Zoom, and then the kids ended up on my porch.
And speaking of porch, we're continuing our COVID little stay-at-home projects. Mine have been little like renos of things, but Brittany, you want a whole redo your porch.
I actually want to expand
She
my
has a
porch.
dream.
I told my husband, if the school does not open up next fall, I need a porch. I need to be able to see my neighbors walking
Yes.
and say hi to them.
So you're taking this time at home where you really can't do too much. You're having some things redone
and
to
you're
create,
very extroverted.
to create a bigger space. So
need a
here's
bigger
your
space in my
this is your
front.
middle break. You're taking a break to create a bigger space so that you are going into the rest of 2020 with an intention just to love on people and say hi and live out
I
front of
feel
your
like
house.
from a
I feel
distance.
like from this past spring, like in a lot of ways, I was robbed, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not going to happen again.
No, I'm gonna live outside.
Yeah, I'm going to live outside.
We were robbed.
I'm going to pitch my tent.
Yep, make a bigger porch. All of this to say, the middle holds the meat. The middle can be your turning point. The middle can be the highlight.
The middle can redefine you.
Exactly. And so finish out this year and have a success. Don't lean into failure and just lean back and let it slide by you and let the rest of the lecture of life just glide. You know, get your senses and awareness back up to where they were in January when you were anticipating. You came into the year with hope and a chance and a new purpose and resolution.
Yes.
A resolution. And redefine those resolutions. It's your chance to start again. And you know what? No one can say no because no one's around. So if you haven't posted anything online in terms of your resolutions, it's all you. You hold it yourself. It's between you and God. Start again. Start anew. Begin fresh.
And to go back to the middle here, if you're looking for something that you're waiting for God to give you a sign, you're waiting for him to speak to you, honey, he has spoken to you. This might be the time to get to know what he's done and who he's been in his word. Get into the word. It's right there. It's been there. And then knowing him, you might be able to define that voice a little bit clearer, you know, as he's speaking to you. Some people, you know, were like, God, just show us a sign. It's kind of like when you first become a Christian and you're like, all right, God, let's test this thing out. And you open up your Bible.
You close your eyes, you open up your Bible, and you put your finger down somewhere, and you open your eyes.
And it's like something so profound.
Yeah.
But eventually God like makes a fool of you.
And you end up with like, and there were 20 goats that this herd was herding.
It's hurting.
that so speaks to me right now.
I am those 20 goats, man. I need a shepherd.
Or the entire line of lineage. What is
Yes.
it?
Yes. Oh, it's like
And then Jacob. And
close your eyes. You open up.
Ebediah.
You open up to Numbers. You're like, great.
So saying that like just go deeper with God and what he's already given us and what he, you know, who he is, and you'll be able to hear him through the people that you're talking with and through the spaces that you're creating. The more you know him, the deeper you know him.
All right. Well, I just want to close in a quick word of prayer. Father, we thank you so much for the ability to do this podcast, to talk about you, to talk to each other, just to relate and to gain some perspective in life. We thank you for this opportunity to meet in the middle and collaborate to finish well. Thank you for being present with us in this chaos, this unrest of 2020, and giving us peace in our homes and in our hearts and in our minds if we would allow you to do so. And so, Father, we're asking you to do that, to bring us that peace, that reset, and to help us to open our eyes, to be refreshed, restored, renewed, and ready to walk into July, the middle of 2020, with ambition, with attitude, with wanting to reclaim this year for your glory and not let Satan get a foothold and steal our joy and steal this whole year from us, because it seems like what Brittany said, like we've been robbed. And Father, I know that you have promised to walk with us. And if we choose to allow you to receive the glory for every single step, if we walk with you and we honor you, Lord, you're going to bless us. You're going to bless this year tenfold. And just, you already have in our own lives. You blessed us with Shelby. Thank you for letting her be here with us on this podcast. She's a friend that became family in such a quick amount of time. And it's just a miracle to see when we are open to letting you work. You open our hearts, you open our minds, and you open our homes when we can, and allow new people to just come into our families and our hearts. And we just praise you for that. And so, Lord, I just ask that anyone who heard the words on this podcast, that they would go forth in your glory, that they would be inspired and blessed and encouraged by your truth and who you are. And we pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
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 All right, so they kicked me out for another song.
Another
here,
song.
because Miriah wants to take the lead.
We are
now.
Harmony Roads. So we like to sing a song at the end of the podcast each time. And
Brittany's road is under construction.
yes.
No, I am not
You just
under
don't want me to feel
construction.
left out.
I know. I don't
Okay,
want
yeah.
Shelby to feel left out. So
Exactly.
we're going to sit over here on our bench.
Okay.
And we're going to let you guys sing, because Miriah now wants to take the lead, and Sierra and Miriah sang the song in a really sweet moment. Guys, listen, I am the lead singer of this band. I have control. I have complete control. All right, here we go.
Well,
Miriah and Sierra, all in. Here we go.
hey, you know what? I'm the middle child. I feel like I deserve
This
this
is your
one.
moment.
This is my
her middle
my
moment.
shining moment.
Brittany's just not singing because she can't harmonize as well.
That's okay.
I just takes me a little bit longer, guys. All right, I write the songs, you harmonize.
Yep. So we're going to sing Shadow Feet. It's a song by Brooke Fraser. And I love this song because, particularly the lyric, when the world's falling out from under me, I'll be found in you, still standing. And I feel like so many people feel like, what is going on with the world? I have nothing to stand on right now. Everything is shifting. Everything keeps changing. But no matter what happens, yeah, we're still found in him. We're still standing. When the sky rolls up and mountains fall on their knees, when time and space are through, I'll be found in you. That's what it also says. And I just love the power in these lyrics. Walking, stumbling on these shadow feet, toward home, a land that I've never seen. I am changing, less and less asleep, made of different stuff than when I began. And I have sensed it all along. Fast approaching is the day when the world is falling out from under me. I'll be found in you, still standing. When the sky rolls up and mountains fall on their knees, when time and space are through, I'll be found in you. You make all things new. You make all things new. You make all things new. You make all things. You make all things. When the world is falling out from under me, I'll be found in you, still standing. Every fear and accusation under my feet, when time and space are through, I'll be found in you. When time and space are through, I'll be found in you. When time